Alright, hey guys, welcome to another review. This time we're looking at a domestic flight I've been recently taking to Osaka, and you can see already we're already at the gate here. This is a flight from Haneda in Tokyo to ITM in Osaka. We're flying with Japan Airlines. This is a domestic economy flight, and there's not that much to talk about, but I just wanted to share a bit of my experiences. This is also in line with a couple of other reviews I did with this recent trip, so check out, I have some lounge reviews and also a hotel review in Osaka. So what is this flight about? Actually, between Tokyo and Osaka, Japan Airlines is actually operating a Dreamliner. This is a 787-8. This is a pretty big plane for such a short flight. We're talking about around an hour and 10 minutes of flight time. And the nice part about it is, since this is a proper Dreamliner, you will have all the amenities that you know from, a plane that usually is being used for international flights. So as we are boarding the flight, you can see on the right side we're actually just passing the premium economy seats. This is in a 232 position with the chairs, and then we're going back to economy, which is a 333 position where we have taken the window seats actually. Now, as you can see, being a big plane, this plane has a very high capacity. Despite that, actually the flight was almost completely booked, so it makes sense for Japan Airlines to operate such a large aircraft on this. Now, as you can see, also plenty of space in the overhead compartments. This really is a lovely plane to fly, even on such a short haul route. Overall, since we were departing from Haneda Airport, it was actually quite easy to go there from the center of Tokyo, unlike Narita, which you actually have to take either buses or trains to get out there for quite a while. Haneda is a lot more central. And while we are pushing back to start our flight, I wanted to highlight that I have to say the cabin crew was very attentive, very friendly, and also that the English proficiency was very high, so there were no communication issues on this flight. Usually in Japan that might happen a bit more often, but absolutely no issues here, so that was great. Now I'd like to also note that I'm not sure whether Japan Airlines also runs this Dreamliner on this domestic route. It might be that just because Japan, as of the time of the flight, Japan is still somewhat closed, and so the overall amount of international flights are a bit reduced. So I'm not entirely sure whether Japan Airlines runs this plane usually on this route, or whether after COVID kind of calms down a bit, whether they choose to swap it out for smaller planes on this route. Small side note as we're getting ready for the takeoff is, if you can, try to get a window seat on the right side of the airplane on this flight, as you might be able to see Mount Fuji from the window part. You also will have a nicer view of Tokyo on this side. Unfortunately, we got the left side where you mainly see the ocean, not quite as nice. Alright, as we are lifting off, let's talk about the seat. And the first thing I'd like to mention is that you have a full entertainment system. Obviously, since this is usually an airplane I think used on international flights, you have a screen in front of every seat. The touch screen is also very responsive, as you can see. You also, of course, have the usual map, including 3D view, that I actually really like to see. And you can see here our flight route, quite a quick hop over to Osaka Itami International Airport. Specifically here you can say it, flight time is around 44 minutes, so quite a short flight. In general, Japan Airlines, I really like the style. They have a very dark pattern, black and red. I think it looks very elegant, and you can see here from the seat distance that it's quite alright. I'm 6'4" or 190, and I actually had just enough space, and also the headrest can go up quite a bit, so there's no issues there. You also have a little bit of storage in front of you for magazines if needed. And of course, it being a Dreamliner, you have the option to electronically dim the window. You can see it shading turn into this like bluish shade, and that is always fun to use, I have to say. Another nice feature is that you have a full power plug on every seat, and that's really fantastic and not as common. You also have this table here. They have this two-fold kind of design for the table. Works as expected, no complaints there. Another thing to mention is, as you can see, you have a USB port at every screen, as well as, unfortunately, the double plug for the headphones. I'm not sure if you can operate them with just one plug. The route was a bit too short for me to try it out. Here, by the way, you can see that when it comes to movies, somehow it is an extremely limited selection of only 2 movies, which I think was a bit odd, but at least they had one international movie. As a side note, the headphones were very uncomfortable, and I cannot recommend you using them. This is really just if you don't have any other choice, but they felt very uncomfortable. I think after 1 hour even, your ears will already hurt, so this is just an emergency solution. One nice thing is that you actually get a beef broth on Japan Airlines flight, besides the normal drinks, even though it's such a short flight. So really a nice thing for it, even though when they gave us the consommé, the beef consommé and the drinks, we were already kind of preparing for landing, so you had to kind of have your drinks and consume them quite quickly. Now we're already at Osaka Airport. As mentioned, it is a quick domestic flight. Especially in economy, there's not that many differences in general, but I'm quite happy with how everything turned out. And also I'd like to mention this one here is, I'm always impressed how well organized the deplaning is in Japan. You can see that people are very patiently waiting for their turn, and only once actually the compartment is being called to exit, then everyone was standing up and getting out quickly. So very impressive. And that is it for this review. If you'd like to see more videos of this trip, make sure to check out the other videos on my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.